Howdy, everybody. We'll get started in just a minute. Hope you all having a good day. All right, we'll go and kick things off. Well, howdy, and welcome to our session on intelligent storage and protecting your workloads with our partner, Dell Technologies and SecureWorks. I'm a big fan of these types of sessions because it's a casual environment. We can highlight some key items and set the stage for a deeper dive specific to your use cases and next step. So we keep these sessions short and sweet because we know your time is precious. So my name is Trent Whitfield. I'm Chief of Engineering at Technologent, and I'm joined today by Mr. Luis Guzman from SecureWorks, a Dell Technologies company. We have a great session lined up for you today with tons of information and some hot topics. So for today's session, we'll first go through some business drivers so we can understand why these types of conversations are so important. And then I'll introduce Technologent to you and go over what sets us apart from the competition. We'll then talk a little about the partnership with Dell Technologies and SecureWorks, and we'll introduce their PowerScale family of products. And then we'll continue the conversation with Luis, where he'll go over some additional offerings from the Dell Technologies family. And then we'll wrap things up with a little Q&A, talk some next steps, and all that good stuff. So let's get this thing kicked off with some Gartner. Everyone loves a little Gartner, and here are a few of their predictions and observations they posted this year. It's always interesting to compare their pre-pandemic predictions from early 2020 to the ones this year. Now, there's definitely been a huge shift in terms of focusing on ransomware protection and developing a digital transformation strategy because of the pandemic. So this is what we're seeing. The move to public cloud and the increase in ransomware attacks during the pandemic are forcing IT leaders to rethink their current backup and recovery strategies. We're seeing companies begin to adopt the self-service infrastructure to enable the innovation necessary to stay ahead of the curve. Now, Gartner estimates by 2025, 75% of enterprises will be heavily involved in self-service infrastructure platforms. That's a huge 15% uptake as compared to last year. And the Gartner crew is still stating that through the end of this year, digital transformation will take enterprises twice as long and cost twice as much as originally expected if a solid IT strategy isn't put in place. Now, if we dig into these predictions and break them down through the lens of a multi-cloud automation and data protection viewpoint, then we can simplify them into these business drivers and initiatives and establish best practices to help their attainment. Now, when we refer to the best practices around becoming more efficient, we're talking about reducing costs through right sizing and ensuring the proper applications are moved to the cloud or containerized. With innovation, the convo is turned on improving delivery times by using DevOps to instantly provision new apps when, where, and how you need them. So incorporating that self-service and unified orchestration model. And when it comes to cybersecurity, we're referring to keeping your data and transactions safe by developing and trusting the procedures, protocols, and standards put in place through the governance conversations to properly secure the environment. From a risk perspective, we refer to protecting against any disruption to deliver an always-on customer experience. Now we're talking about disaster recovery, business continuity, and ransomware protection at this level. And with agility, we're leveraging the efficiencies of the cloud to support the business with the freedom to move workloads regardless of underlying infrastructure. And finally, flexibility, as in cloud-to-cloud mobility, migrations, or consolidations. Now, if we look at these business drivers as a piece to a puzzle, the question quickly becomes, what strategic conversations are missing or not happening that's preventing your company from achieving their goals? Well, let's talk a little bit about Technologent and how we help fill those missing gaps or pieces. I've been with Technologent for over 8 years now, and I've had some amazing conversations with our customers around their goals, initiatives, and desired strategies. Now, during these strategic conversations, we serve as the integrator. We're the glue that puts the best of breed offerings from Dell Technologies and other various vendors together to provide that true holistic solution to our customers. So how do we bring the value add to our customers and further separate ourselves from competition by being a true solution provider? Well, it starts with a solid foundation based on our people. From our CEO, Mrs. Tammy Cooper, to our engineers across the world, we strive to give our customers the best possible solutions to ensure they achieve every one of their goals. And with our professional services arm, we can deliver anything and everything we discuss and design in our strategic sessions. Our managed services team can help you with the day two operations of your specialized applications, disaster recovery as a service, monitoring as a service, and ensure you provide more capability to your company's end users. Our financial and maintenance renewals teams ensure you get the most value out of your solution throughout its lifestyle. Our service provider solutions deliver next generation solutions for hybrid networking, unified communications, and contact centers with leading technology carrier service providers. Our security pillar focuses on the physical, logical, and service elements used to protect the assets and infrastructure of an organization. And when it comes to automation, we go into removing anything from manual interaction or intervention. Let's get those hands off the keyboards with no code or low code implementations. And with data management, we're getting the value out of your data through information strategy sessions, compliance and privacy workshops, data protection assessments and implementations, and incorporating access and analytics into your environment. And within the infrastructure pillar, we focus on the physical, software, and cloud-related assets that provide the services, structure, and storage of your applications and data. And finally, the top of the house, we come to integration. This is what we do. We take disparate technologies from various vendors and create a holistic solution for our customers. Now, crossing each of the domains, we introduce the various practices that work hand in hand with our clients and strategic partners to bring inspiration and innovation to every organization. So here we see just some of the many examples of the capabilities within each practice. Our service provider practice helps our customers reduce their OpEx by 20 to 30% when working with our team and leveraging our carrier service methodology. The data center team expands on traditional stack and compute and storage and network within those four walls of a data center and brings that same reliability and disaster recovery capabilities to the edge. Their business continuance strategy sessions and workshops are famously known to help your company define and achieve your business SLAs. The cybersecurity practice is focused on protecting your organization from the core to the edge, with solutions spanning secure operations, network, infrastructure and hosting, data access, identity management, endpoint security, and unified endpoint management. The cloud and automation teams are working with our customers to bring intelligence and efficiency to their public, private, and hybrid cloud environments through everything as code engagements and integrating service automation into the environment. Our advanced service practice houses some of the best engineers in the world. The advanced integrations and the environment optimization they perform truly set us apart from any other company. Our vendors come to us first for their deployments because of the professionalism and the expertise we bring to the table. With our proven methodology, best of breed tools, and extensive product certifications, we help you and your IT organizations architect, integrate, and maintain a secure, high-performing business. We simply help you achieve your goals. But we found you can't have a conversation about goals without discussing inhibitors. So I ask you, how comfortable are you with your IT landscape? What strategy or plan hasn't been defined or discussed to help your company navigate the uncomfortable journey of transition and change? What puzzle piece is preventing you from achieving your goal? Maybe it's one of these pieces, or perhaps one or two of these pieces make you uncomfortable. At Technologent, we have expertise in each of these areas and many more not listed. We can help strategize and define what success looks like for your business. We are your solutions provider, helping develop a plan or strategy based off your 3, 4, 5-year goals to fill any missing pieces and complete the puzzle. And with a 3-to-1 engineer to sales rep ratio, Technologent has the engineering expertise within your reach to help you and your teams achieve any goal. Now, today we'll focus on these areas and pieces while highlighting some key technology relationships. At Technologent, we work with best of breed partners to provide the best of breed solutions our customers desire. Now, Dell Technologies and SecureWorks are key in these areas, and they work closely with the technology architects and engineers to ensure our customers achieve their goals. All right, let's get to the next piece. Let's talk some PowerScale. Now, Dell Technologies, they have the widest spread of storage arrays available, and they design it to meet any need. These conversations are essentially, endless. And so for the sake of time and y'all's sanity, we'll focus on just one of the storage families today. But if there's anything you'd like to know more about or some good, bad, ugly comparisons with the competition, you'd like to drill into any of the products, just let me know. I'm happy to sit down with you after the session. Now, let's talk about some enterprise level NAS and object scalability capabilities within the PowerScale. So there's a lot of potential in unstructured data. From home directories to IoT sensors to video files to analytics-filled data lakes. Now, the typical goal is to take all this data and understand business results, anticipate what's coming, and act quickly on a risk and opportunity. Every business is becoming data-driven, or they risk being outsmarted. So businesses are taking steps to harness the data so they can drive innovations, get to market faster, and to create differentiation. But there's challenges in unlocking the potential of this data. So first and foremost, it is massive. It's estimated that 80% of the world's data is unstructured, and it is growing fast. It's expected to triple in the next 5 years. And that's because of the emerging use cases that are going well beyond traditional NAS, such things as surveillance, machine learning, video rendering, and tons more. Another challenge is that it's no longer constrained to the four walls of the data center. It is growing quickly at the edge. And so all of these challenges are happening while IT budgets are remaining relatively flat. So we asked our customers, how do you tackle these challenges? And they told us the right unstructured data storage solution for them must do these things well. First, it should be able to handle any scale, from small to very large. Second, it should be able to handle increasing growth of data volumes and data types while maintaining simplicity. Third, it should handle the data no matter where it lives. And finally, it shouldn't require any disruption to upgrade the system. Now, Dell EMC has had great success with Isilon serving these needs for many years. #1 scale and NAS platform, Magic Quadrant leader for 5 years in a row, over 17 exabytes in the field, on and on and on, great successes. But now they're building on this proven history of innovation and setting a new standard for unstructured data storage. So PowerScale is a new unstructured data storage family based on a new generation of PowerScale 1FS, which includes new PowerScale branded 1U size nodes, coexistence with existing Isilon clusters, and upgraded capabilities for Dell's cloud offerings. It can offer simplicity at any scale, handle any data, anywhere, and find insights within your infrastructure and your data. So the core strength of 1FS is a future-proof design that allows new nodes to merge in existing clusters in 60 seconds. Once a new node is connected, it's auto-discovered, and the data is auto-balanced across every node in the array to ensure performance is evenly distributed. To handle any data, Dell offers flexible file and object access and support for 8 protocols, including S3 access for cloud-native development. And their software-defined approach allows them to run 1FS in more places from the data center to the cloud. So this enables Dell to support smaller customers and edge locations in a way they've never been able to do before. The new PowerEdge-based all-flash NVMe nodes provide incredible power in a compact, competitively priced product. No matter the location, the system provides the same great experience and remains efficient, secure, and protected. Dell's also expanded their software choices for our customers with free tools that help customers understand their data. Cloud IQ delivers detailed infrastructure insights and storage level health monitoring, while Data IQ is a tool for discovering, understanding, and acting on the data you have, so providing those necessary data insights. Together, these updated features in the PowerScale family offer a complete solution for unlocking the potential within your data. So let's talk a little bit more about the simplicity of scale. The core strength behind Isilon's success has always been the 1FS file system. With this latest release, Dell is bringing the best of 1FS forward and delivering new capabilities, including inline dedupe and compression, support for the new Ansible workflows, and integration with popular infrastructure frameworks such as Kubernetes and OpenShift. It's a very scalable file system and can start as small as 11 terabytes and scale to very large capacities. Dell's no node left behind philosophy is still around, so you can swap new PowerScale nodes into existing Isilon clusters in 60 seconds and decommission old nodes with no downtime. The PowerScale platform can handle virtually any unstructured data type and access method, including support for 8 protocols. So NFS, SMB, HDFS, REST, HTTP, NDMP, FTP, and as we mentioned earlier, S3 support. So this flexibility allows any user to get to the data they need in order to create, share, collaborate, and develop using the incredibly powerful multilingual data platform. Now, one of the newest and more intriguing additions to the platform surrounds the intelligent insights that are available. So using Cloud IQ and Data IQ, you can get detailed insights about your infrastructure and your data. Cloud IQ makes it easy to determine the health of your systems across the data center, helping you reduce risk, avoid outages, and improve productivity. Data IQ makes it easy for anyone to find and understand data across your PowerScale and your entire file cloud, which could include data from PowerStore, ECS, and third-party cloud. Once locations are indexed, it becomes simple for anyone to find and share files at very, very high speeds. So we're increasing the speed of insights and truly helping your business make decisions faster. So let's take a quick snapshot of the PowerScale family. So it spans from edge to core to cloud and includes existing Isilon nodes as well. Dell EMC offers options in all flash, hybrid, and archive node types, so this provides the right balance between price, performance, and capacity. Dell's also extended PowerScale 1FS into the cloud with their partnerships with AWS, Azure, and Google, providing you the ability to swing workloads or simply protect those workloads through replication and disaster recovery configurations. So to summarize, our customers have been looking for an end-to-end solution, and this is how it comes together. The PowerScale technology gives the ability to innovate faster and unlock the potential of your data through intelligent insights, access to your data anywhere, and simple, non-disruptive scaling. Well, let's move on to the next portion of this webinar and talk about another great offering with the Dell Technologies portfolio. SecureWorks is a global cybersecurity leader. They've been around for 20 plus years. They have real-world threat detection, intelligence and research. They're known for improving customers' ability to detect advanced threats, streamline and collaborate on investigations, and automate the right actions. So it's my pleasure to introduce our featured speaker, Mr. Luis Guzman. Luis, thanks for joining us today.
Trent, oh man, you made me sound really cool. Thanks for that. Hey, that was a great prezo. If anybody's out there that can hear me, go ahead. That deserves a round of applause. I don't know if anybody else heard me, but thank you, Trent. Especially for there you go. There we go. I like it. And as you can see, we all really like to keep it very nonchalant here, right? I'm wearing a nice shirt, but I'm wearing shorts and boots down below because I was doing lawn work about an hour ago, right? So there you go. Now we all know that we're normal. All right. So this is the guy that's talking to you right now. I'm wearing a little bit different glasses, but I've been in the industry for a little while. You just can't see the gray hair because I hide it really well. What's that? Where you cover it up with the just for men? Yeah, that's me. So, so 15 plus years of information security, customer facing roles, right? I've been doing from help desk all the way up to pro services, executive leadership, all kinds of fun stuff. But anyways, uh, when I come to you, when I talk about this, it's because I've seen a lot of this stuff, right? So from SecureWorks, I've been here for about a year and some change. And when I got here, I was put into the new team that was going to be talking about a new product, right? And that new product is called Taegis. So we're going to look at that a little bit and how that's modernizing our threat detection and response to what was being done in the legacies, right? And the legacy side of the house. But let's kind of back up a little bit and talk about the SecureWorks family, right? Because we do belong to the Dell Technologies bigger, umbrella of cool things. But we've been around for quite a while, right? 22 plus years, right? A little older than my daughter. But the longevity in this environment is key because we've gathered quite a bit of data in what we're doing. We're bringing all of that data, not just a new product, but we're bringing all of the data that we gathered in those 22 years, and we're able to put it into two products today. One of those being called Taegis XDR, the other one called Taegis VDR. We'll get into that in a minute. Right, the 1400 plus is conservative on incident response because we're talking about half of that number being emergency and the other half being proactive services as well, right? So that number right there is kind of conservative, but 315 billion in the bees events a day from around the world that we're curating at some point. Either we're touching it, we're seeing it, we're moving it around, making sure that we utilize that information and put it in the right space and to understand it, right? So here's why does this matter to you? That slide is obligatory because the first guy in the slide, this guy right here with the glasses, that's me without a beard. This is me going through incident response situation with no glasses, and now I have a beard. And this guy back here is about a month into it. I've now aged rapidly, and it happens. In this industry, it happens. You can age really quickly. But really, why does this matter, right? We want to improve that security effectiveness. We want to be that provider, right? The manufacturer that helps you, right? That comes alongside Technologent with our Dell Technologies family, and being able to say, look, not only are we going to detect this, We're also going to unburden you from being, having to do all of this on your own. We could come alongside you and help, and then being able to hone that security strategy that you might have already had, or we could potentially help you develop it as well, right? So that's key, right? Because of the uh, product and services that we wrap around that product. So on the rapidly evolving threat landscape, what are we talking about here? Let's kind of think about what we've seen in the last few months, right? We've got Colonial Pipeline. We've got JBS, the meat processing company. We also have, there was the other one that just happened. I just drew a blank. Oh, SolarWinds, right? So we have all of these very public, very customer facing uh, attacks that all started with a small part that people forgot, either a vulnerability, they left an open VPN, or they got a phishing email, or a combination of all of them. And then there was somebody inside of their network for a little while, and then they started infiltrating and they started gathering the data that they wanted. And they then said, "Hey, okay, we're good to go now. Let's do a ransomware and hit while we can." And so the understanding of knowing that the legacy tools that we've had in the past, and really legacy tools, think about the old VPN that was part of this whole drama that unfolded in front of us. An old VPN, that's legacy, right? I mean, we understand that having a username and password that's readily accessible, from something you didn't even know was in your network, right? It was basically a node that was unknown, a network outlier that was sitting out there, and then it was exploited. And so it wasn't necessarily that it was just a vulnerability inside of a piece of software. It's just something that people neglected to do. So people, processes, and procedures. So understanding the emerging threats is good, but understanding that there are threats that have been in the environment for a while that you want to pay attention to. Like maybe you have a UPS system that isn't working correctly, so your power is at risk now. Like in Texas when we had the whole Snowmageddon thing, right? We got hit and people lost their power and servers went down because their UPS hadn't been checked. I mean, all kinds of stuff that you would never think that would hit you in security, right? So we need to understand how to meet those demands, how to get into the network, how to be able to see all of the telemetry that's coming in, and then put an action set behind it, right? So that's where our products come in. And our products, um, we have the platform called Taegis, and under there, Taegis, the brand name, we have XDR, which is the extended detect and respond. We also have the manage XDR, which is XDR with the people around it. Then we have the VDR side of the house, which is vulnerability detect and respond, and then incident response, right? The services that I was talking about. If you don't know about our incident response, we can always talk about that later. But basically, pen testing, gap assessment, all of fun stuff. And Technologent is one of our premier partners on this, so we would be able to work together with them when we have those engagements. Right? So with XDR, you have the component that's going to look at your network, going to look at your endpoints, it's going to look at your cloud as well. So now you have a holistic view of everything that's happening. Right, being able to have a detector is what we have, what we like to call our combo rule, right? So you could have 17 different rules that you had to manually write before. Now you don't have to worry about it. We've got detectors right out of the box. So those detectors can look at use cases like stolen credentials, right? So if Luis logs in and he's sitting in Estes Park while he's eating a donut, and then he loses his credentials, and then somebody in Texas, in Austin, decide that they're going to use those credentials. Well, we could see that. We could see that should not happen in a matter of minutes, right? That's called a Superman violation. Nobody's Superman here. We don't have a teleportal. We can't jump in, just us up to the next place that we want to be at. So we have the capability of doing that, right? Then understanding that the alert fatigue is a real thing, understanding that you need to know how to detect it, you need to know how to investigate it, you need to be able to respond, and then having that automation piece as well, right? Because like Trent was saying, look, that automation, the low code or no code, that's huge because if you can reduce the number of minutes that the actual analyst or engineer in your environment has to be touching stuff, you reduce also the ability or capabilities of them making a mistake, right? And so that's huge. Right? So being able to, if you don't have the automation, then you have to have the human resource to do it. right? So at some point, the human and the automation have to come together and play really well together, and we've done that. All right. So the security intelligence side of the house, we got that from 22 years of being able to see the management side of it, the operations side of it, and then also having uh, the team members all around the world as well, right? So 24/7, being able to see what we call the CTU, the counter threat unit, that looks at the threat intelligence environment everywhere around the world. Again, we scrub the dark web. We go into Alphabet. We go into all kinds of fun stuff and bring back that intelligence and say, okay, here's what we found, and then we pump it back into Taegis XDR, Taegis VDR. All right, so those two are the products. So now, why does it matter? Well, it matters because you have to be able to have an environment that understands itself, basically. It doesn't have to be homogenous. Um, it doesn't have to be constantly talking to itself, but you should have the capability of communicating back and forth as it needs it. So the automation side of the house with XDR and BDR is huge. So being able to have APIs in the back end to understand what it is that you're looking at and potentially create your own custom view if you wanted to via an API. You could do that if you really wanted to, right? Having that advanced analytics, being able to actually deliver the advanced analytics into the platform or platforms is key, because now you don't have to get out of the platform and go look for that information. It actually moves it into the platform, and you're now seeing the stuff that we're gathering on a day-to-day basis. It could be on an hour-to-hour basis, right? So having that view all the way around, and then being able to add the managed XDR side of it, and then the incident response. Now, we're not going to get too far into the VDR or incident response side of the house, but we are going to talk a little bit more in depth on XDR. And the reason I say that is because XDR really is going to be getting us into that mode of the SIMless environment, right? I used to be with, I used to work for a company that has a SIM, is a SIM vendor. So I know the market really well. I know all of the competitors that are out there. But everybody's saying the same thing. We're going SIMless. We're going seamless also, right? Depending on how you say it, because there was this promise that we were given at some point in the past. And that promise was, we're going to take all of your logs. We're going to understand everything. We're going to understand the mass volumes of data coming at you and the emerging threats. And we're going to go ahead and consume it. And then we're going to tell you this is what's going to happen. It's a good story, but I tell fables all the time as well for my kids, to go to sleep. So here's the reality: is that now I'm 43 years old, going on 44 years old. I knew like 2000, I think 2000, 1999, 2000, right around there. So that means that the technology has been there, but it hasn't given us what it said that it was going to give us. And so we've had to figure out, pivot, understand that log aggregation by itself isn't going to be enough. Understanding that just looking at the endpoint isn't enough. We have to be able to have a holistic view, because looking at the average of 80% of successful breaches are new or unknown attacks. Now, what does that mean, right? If we start peeling that statistic back, we start understanding that even though the attack might have been new, they did use something that was legacy. So it could be, let's take Mimikatz, for example. And I know I might geek out a little bit here, but Mimikatz is basically a variant of a few other attacks. And what it was doing basically would go in and it would get a memory dump out of Windows. It would scrape your Windows device and then say, okay, here's what we have. We have this potential user credential. That user credential can then take us into pivot to another credential or to another device, and then that device, so on and so forth, until I got to where I needed to get, which was the crown jewels, right? So this was happening a long time ago, but now they were able to look at the attack in a different way. They modify it just a little bit, and now it's a new attack. It's unknown, because the variants that are happening with all of these attacks are not being able to, get put into a signature. So now you have to look at behaviors. You have to look at, is it encapsulated in the virtual environment? Does it even look for a keyboard, or is it looking for a virtual keyboard? I mean, all of these little nuances, understanding that there is behavior to not just humans, but also to potentially a machine or an endpoint, right? If it's in your network, we want to know about it. So Taegis XDR, what it does, the advanced threats that I was just talking about, we've got to be able to understand and trust our alerts. We have to stop getting this alert fatigue that we've been getting for all these years, right? I worked in a network operations center that became the security operations center back in the day in Colorado. And I had some 3 o'clock in the morning scares where I thought my alerts were just freaking out. I had an attack from some crazy entity that I didn't know about. Then I had to call everybody, and I had an incident response plan that was this big, but none of it was relevant. It was all outdated. I mean, we need to be able to streamline all of this with all of the technology that we have. Well, that's what XDR is doing for us, right? Because understanding the legacy, where we came from, what we were doing back then, to what we want to do now, and automate this, moving it in the right direction so that we can have the right action set. Right. So if that means quarantining, that means dropping somebody from a network, right? What's called a TCP/IP reset. I know that that might not be something that you guys have ever heard before, but basically, my laptop tries to connect out to the internet. It has some hops in between there. Those in between hops right there potentially connect to a switch. I can drop you at that switch. If I know that you're doing something, boom, I go automate that, and then I drop you off of that switch and potentially quarantine you and force you to go get the antivirus that you need, or force you to get that laptop redeployed because you've been pwned, or you've got some virus that's now causing issues, right? So being able to do that with Taegis in an automated fashion is huge, right? It changes the game. So bringing all of the information that I've thrown at you, right? Taegis XDR, Taegis BDR, managed XDR, and the incident response side of the house, right? The IR. It can be emergency or it can be proactive, mix and match, right? Put it together and say, okay, I want 30% emergency, 70% proactive, right? You can do all of that. Understanding that we're enriching the information that's coming in. So Luis is in a Windows box, Luis is in a Linux box. I need to understand both of those boxes, enrich that information so that I can tell you what just happened. Having a visibility of the whole network, huge, right? That's the Dell Technologies way, is understanding all of your network. Behavioral analytics, right? User behavior analytics, because now if Luis, again, is in Boulder, is in Estes, is in Austin, maybe I'm in Austin on my phone, right? And somebody sees me log in when I'm in Denver, right? That shouldn't happen. And then understanding that the threat intelligence that we've gathered in the last 22 years is going to bring us into understanding that those 22 years weren't just for naught. Those 22 years, we became the company that we are today. And that company is really focused on software now, with the managed services side of the house and the incident response side of the house as well. And then when we do all of this, we're able to partner up with great partners like Technologent so that we can bring these services and products to you. Because guess what? These attacks aren't stopping. These attacks are only getting more frequent. I mean, you could literally just go to Google right now, type in cyber space, go to news, and you'll get all kinds of fun stuff. And then having it all together into one family, Dell Technologies, and Secure Works. All right, so I thank you guys so much. It is 2:35 on local time, right? I'm in Central as well, because I'm in the Austin area. We're gonna open it up. I think I'm gonna kick this back to Trent and Alma. I will go ahead and stop my sharing, and then we will talk the
Yeah, that's
questions
awesome.
and answers.
That is good stuff. So I'm beyond excited about the offerings we have here, and I know the integrations coming down the pipe with the Dell Technologies family. And you can just see from I talked about data IQ and kind of being intelligent about where your data lives and things like that. Taking that next step with these type of integrations and adding analytics to it, man, that's pretty huge, dude. I mean, you heard me talk about analytics on here. We have a huge analytics practice, and using that to stay ahead of your adversaries. I love that word. I love that line. The table you had with the cyclical aspect that went advanced analytics, accelerated investigation and response, and going to that community applied intelligence, that's huge. I think that's a great table to share with a lot of folks. And then I love what you said, replace legacy SIEMs with improved efficiency and efficacy. Streamline that process with the right actions. That right there goes a long, long way.
I knew you were writing notes down. I saw you. I was like, I think he's
Hey
writing
man,
notes.
I wasn't writing in my journal, so I was taking notes. I was paying attention. And we did
That's
have a
awesome.
couple of questions come in for you, Luis.
Hmm.
One is kind of for both of us. So I'll start with the one related to Taegis, where it's, does Taegis work across on-prem and cloud implementations?
Yes.
Simple, Simon. I like it. Uh, and then this one is kind of, I think we should both answer this one. So I'll let you go first.
Okay.
I'm curious if you've seen price and risk shift in priority over the last year.
Hmm. Price
It's a good
and
one.
risk, right? So
Yep.
so here's the thing, right? I have seen a lot of shift in the last 2 years, and the shift that I really have seen the where everybody's moving to is understanding that there is money to start putting into all of the risk that's happening today in these environments, right? So back in the day when I first started, there was like less than 1% of the information technology budget was ever given to security. Now we're
Mhm.
seeing 3%, right? So that I'm excited, right? From
Yeah.
1% to 3, that's huge. But here's the thing: the more that we see these companies getting attacked, the more people will understand. Maybe we bring it up to 5% so that we can actually do something. Because I mean, even 5%, that's so small compared to. I mean, we're spending more on coffee sometimes,
Yeah.
so it makes no
Yeah.
sense, right?
No, that's true. I mean, I think if we look back to the year of the pandemic, I think there was a significant push to reduce costs or be cost conscious, right? But we also see during that year that the maliciousness from hackers went up. What is it, 350% or something ridiculous
Yeah,
like that? And
crazy.
it's yeah, it's like the hacker level. It isn't a nice guy anymore. They're just doing it to be jerks, and delete your data. So this year they're definitely shifting to where what's one customer told me, I can either pay X now or 3X later. So
Yep.
I'll choose to go ahead and secure my environment now. No, that's great stuff. All right, we got another question in the chat. As a follow-up regard to security, have you seen change in the types of solutions that people are looking to acquire?
As a follow-up, all right, can you say
Yeah, I
that one?
think that's it. I think that's the same gentleman that asked about the cloud aspect and on-prem versus cloud. Now, I'll answer that question.
Sure.
So most of the conversations I'm having related to security are really focused on a lot of the endpoint security, how I can do the risk mitigation there, how I can do the detection and response. Those are probably 95% of my conversations that I have with our clients. And that's because nowadays the bulk of folks are working remote, right? We have customers that I will never be back on site. They love working remote. They're more productive that way. And so I'm a people person, obviously, as you can tell. I'm chatty Cathy, and so I like to be in front of people. So hopefully we'll never go full blown remote. But that's kind of what I see is most people are looking for those tools that take the next level. Where you talked about this, Luis, getting automation aspect out of it, hands off keyboard in terms of solidifying a deal, taking that next step, making the right act or taking the right action, right?
Yep. No, and I think you make a really good point in, when I got hired, I already knew I was going to be fully remote. But when I go visit, customers out on the field, they tell me, hey, you know what, we're going to have 30% in the office and 70% out of the office.
Right.
And so there's going to be this hybrid model that I think happens for the next 5 years. And then I think there's going to be a shift again. Now, what that shift will be, I've got my guesses, my opinions, but those are all just guesses and opinions that Luis has.
Yep. Yeah, I definitely think it's gone from pen testing conversations to, what else can you do to protect my environment type of stuff, right? Since everything's in the cloud, most stuff's moving to the edge, things like that. All right, last question. Let's see. Do you offer 24/7 cybersecurity monitoring?
Yes, we do.
Yep. We have a managed services team as well that helps in those avenues. It's a great partnership that we have. So yeah, short answer, yes, we do. I like it. All right, let's check the chat. Any more? Give it a couple seconds. All right. Well, for those that weren't able to get their questions in, hit us up. We're definitely going to be around. And matter of fact, I invite you to continue the conversation with us. Meet with some of the members on our team on the Technologent side, Ryan, John, Manny, Mohammed, Lance, members of their teams to discuss what a demo, a POC looks like in your environment. Sync up with us on data management, risk assessment workshops, and database assessments. Get with the team on what an application dependency mapping exercise looks like for your organization. And let's talk the cloud framework and how these conversations can help you achieve your digital cloud transformation goals. And, any questions you may have or want to talk to Luis and I further, I'm pretty easy to get a hold of. I'm just Trent@technology.com. I have an alias because my last name's an atrocity. So feel free to reach out. I'm always happy to make the love connection. As you heard me say before, it's a 3-to-1 engineer to sales rep ratio. That's pretty significant from a partner standpoint. And when you do get that follow-up schedule with us, we'll bump up the gift card from Sunglass Hut from 100 to 200. That way you can buy those extra fancy blue blockers. And a little secret, it doesn't have to be a request for specific information on the material we reviewed today. It could be anything and everything. I listed a ton of capabilities early in the presentation. To Luis's point, he goes way back too. So we got plenty of conversations to have with you guys. So perhaps you want to hear what else Technologent is doing with our service provider practice, or maybe you want to simply gain a better understanding of the competitive landscape since we're able to serve as that agnostic consultant for you. So in short, don't hesitate to reach out. We are here to help. And with that, big thank you to everyone that was able to join us today. Thank you to Luis for joining us as well. Always great to work with you, brother. And remember, we're here to provide you our best today for a better tomorrow, and looking forward to syncing up. So again, thank you. I hope everyone stays safe and healthy. God bless.
Thanks, Trent. Thanks, Alma.